Alexander Huth was a British writer and businessman writing as M.Y. Halidom and Dry as Dust. He was born in 1838 in Marylebone, Westminster, the son of Charles Frederick Huth and Frances Caroline Marshall. He married Gesualda Margherita Maria Milana. He died in 1914 in Wandsworth. Halidom's identity as Huth was only uncovered in 2005. We will cover his 1911 The Poet's Curse. The story begins in San Francisco, with American millionaire Phineas Vanderdecken gathering 12 trustworthy men in his house in the middle of the night, to have them join an enterprise across the pond, and to imply if they were to tell anyone he would kill them. He is very unambiguous about that. Then, after we learn his history from being a poor deckhand to being a scheming millionaire, including that one time one of those fiendish Jesuits got into his house as a nanny and tried to turn his children against him, we suddenly see him leave those children in the care of his spinster sister Herminia and leave without warning. For 14 years. We see his son Epaminondas and his daughter Electra as they grow up without their father, as Electra also develops skills as a medium, being able to write messages from the dead automatically. Then Phineas returns all of a sudden without warning, and brings a ton of boxes from Cairo to help start his own private museum. But then he ponders about obtaining something for his museum that no one else has. So he decides to go steal the skeleton of William Shakespeare. He and his 12 men travel across the pond and start building a fake brewery in Stratford-on-Avon as a cover for their digging operation. However, the 2 men tasked with digging the tunnel into the tomb of Shakespeare himself get strange premonitions in their dreams. But when they would quit, Vanderdecken pulls out a gun and threatens them with it. And yet his kids firmly believe he's incapable of doing anything criminal. Silas Mullins and Paul Slick go on with their digging, but both know they are going to their deaths. Then Vanderdecken finds them in the tunnel, both having died of fright at what they saw. They still retrieve the bones, but the ship they sail on is sunk in a collision, and when Vanderdecken climbs into a lifeboat, a shark chews off his leg. He still refuses to give up on his treasure and arrives in San Francisco with a cork leg. In the meantime, Electra receives a message from her dead mother warning her of her father's sacrilegious thievery and of the terrible results that will follow. As the company's Dr. Evans secretly drills holes into Shakespeare's bones in a secret room to display him standing upright, suddenly an earthquake happens. The San Francisco earthquake of 1906. Halidom is saying it was caused by the enraged spirit of William Shakespeare because of the famous curse placed over the Bard's tomb. In which case he was a bit of a dick, as the hundreds of people crushed to death beneath falling masonry, or burned alive in exploding gas pipe fires had nothing to do with any of this. Worse, Epaminondas goes to take down Shakespeare's skeleton so they can send it back to Britain, and the museum falls on top of him and crushes him to death anyway. Sure, Dr. Evans refusing to do so, getting burned to a crisp by lightning, is somewhat deserved, but not this. Especially as he was just about to get married and the girl saw him getting crushed to a pulp right in front of her. Electra takes charge of the bones and has her lover Cecil Arnold carry them back to Stratford, where he and the mayor of Stratford-on-Avon hide them in the tomb in secret, fearing to lose business if the truth ever came out. Then Electra goes to the hospital to tell Phineas of the death of his only son, and the news drives him mad and he winds up in an asylum where he dies.